You're not stuck because you're weak. You're stuck because you don't know how your mind works. And if you knew how your mind works, you would be able to change yourself at the level of your identity. You'd be able to make deep, long-lasting structural changes that do not get up and leave. And these structural changes are very hard to notice for many people. They don't know where to look, they don't know where to start. But in this video, I'm basically going to give you a bit of a starter guide towards pointing you in the direction of making these deep, long-lasting structural changes. So, why are you stuck in the patterns that you're stuck in? Your unconscious mind controls 95% of your life. That's a fact. Your unconscious mind is responsible for the overwhelming majority of what's actually going on in your life. And this conditioning built up throughout our entire life, really, especially in childhood when we really didn't even have a conscious memory. Our body was remembering things. Our nervous system was imprinted. We had an emotional memory. So our unconscious conditioning is largely unknown for a lot of people. And because it's unknown, because they don't know how their mind works, they remain stuck in the same traps and illusions and stories and beliefs and avoidance patterns and all that stuff that their own mind generates. And I have a lot of compassion. This is really challenging work. But essentially, without having the proper awareness of your own mind, you can't integrate lasting change. It's just not possible. So if the conditioning is unconscious, you stay trapped. If it's conscious, now you can actually break free. It's as simple as that. But the thing is so many of our patterns push us back towards the familiar and usual sense of identity that we are. Your identity is just a collection of a bunch of patterns. Your ego is a collection of a bunch of patterns, stories, beliefs, feelings, sensations, experiences. All that makes up your sense of who you are. So in order to actually break free, you have to make this unconscious mind conscious. Again, it's as simple as that, but we have so many tendencies that point us in the exact opposite direction. Our mind likes to stay in the familiar, right? It's wired for survival. It likes to stay in the familiar, whether or not it's healthy or unhealthy for us. So our mind will habitually choose familiar suffering and pain and familiar failures and things we don't actually want instead of unfamiliar freedom and joy and success. So in order to actually change who you are, you have to see something very, very fundamental about yourself. It's actually that you sabotage yourself a lot. Can you kind of see the connection I'm making here? Right? If we're staying stuck in the same patterns that are not serving us, we are sabotaging ourselves, and we actually need to take some responsibility for that. I'm not saying that you're going to kind of change it overnight, and I'm not saying that you're going to kind of force yourself to change, but we have to recognize that we are actually doing this to ourselves, and our lack of awareness is actually keeping us stuck in these patterns. And through awareness, we can actually integrate lasting change. So moving on to the second point, your patterns are attempts to meet your needs. Like I said, we are wired for survival, and we behave in ways that are in alignment with getting our needs met. And we have to take responsibility for those behaviors. And what I mean here by responsibility is we have to acknowledge that we are doing them and that we are not powerless. We have to recognize that we're doing them, and if we are conscious, we can make new choices. But if we're stuck in the same thoughts, the same stories, the same beliefs, the same old feelings, if we're stuck in our lack of self-acceptance, if we're not in our body, if we're not conscious and aware and in touch with stillness, we actually cannot make that change. So we have a lot of power in what we're actually doing, and we actually have to take responsibility for that power. We just happen to be giving it to this unconscious pattern that is not serving us. So back to the core point, your patterns are attempts to meet your needs. Your patterns exist for survival purposes, and when you're stuck in something, you have to wonder, what need am I trying to get met? When you're stuck binge eating, for example, what need are you trying to get met? The need to, maybe process an uncomfortable emotion, the need for safety and connection, right? Those are some rock bottom needs that are Our unwanted patterns are usually built upon the need for safety and connection. You have to connect to the feelings that exist inside of you. You have to connect to the feelings and sensations that drive you to behave the way that you do. And when you do that, now you can break free. You can choose a new pattern. And it's going to be scary because, like I said, we're wired for that same old familiar suffering rather than the unfamiliar freedom. So what need is trying to be met through your behavior? Validation, acceptance, safety, connection. Get very, very specific. Give yourself time to think about this. Don't just try and answer it like poof. Think about it for a while. Reflect on it a lot. Get clear about why you do the things that you do. And pro tip, try and see the ugly truth. Try and see your shadow is involved here. Try and see that you need to bring your shadow out of the dark in order to actually make the change that you really want to make. Recognize as well that there are no bad parts, right? There's no part of you that is bad. You can let go of your judgments of yourself in order to actually release your burdens. If you keep judging yourself and you keep that shadow in the dark, you're not going to be able to make the change that you're trying to make. So, what are you truly wanting as well? When you can identify why your pattern exists, you're doing something for safety or connection, right? You recognize the thing that you're truly desiring, the true need that you have, and we have to start acting in alignment with that. Another core question is, why don't we act in alignment with our true needs? When I coach people, person after person after person doesn't know what their true needs are. People are very, they're not very aware of what their real needs as a human being are. Like even your unique, specific needs to your personality type. People can know food and shelter and maybe clean air and things like that, and warmth and connection, but we need to get even more specific. I have a need to connect to my unprocessed feelings. I have a need to connect to myself. I have a need for stillness. I have a need for fun and enjoyment. I have a need for creative expression. I have a need for purpose and meaning. I have a need for self-actualization and self-transcendence. We can keep going, but what's important, I hope what you take away from this point is that odds are you can go a lot deeper in discovering what it is you actually need, and you need to dive into the nuance of that so you can see how your mind works so that you don't stay stuck in the same patterns. So moving on to the third one, this is a very, very fundamental point for what actually controls you. Buried emotions and buried feelings fuel our pattern. These feelings, sensations, and emotions that we don't want to experience, that we habitually repress and push away and avoid, these are the gasoline for our patterns. The reason why you do the things that you do is entirely based off of your present state. This is very, very true. It's the feelings and sensations that you experience at a very rock bottom level. It's want pleasure, avoid pain, of course, right? So we bury our pain and we try to chase pleasure instead and mask it with pleasure. Now, there's nothing wrong with pleasure. Like, pleasure is fine. In fact, the whole point of what we're doing here is to move you towards more pleasure, actually, just a more mature form of pleasure rather than escaping and binge eating and it is suffering the whole time and it's uncomfortable and then, there's just more pain, right? It's an unsustainable cycle. This drive to want pleasure is not wrong. You don't have to demonize yourself for wanting pleasure or avoiding pain, but we have to recognize what's healthy and unhealthy here. If we are avoiding our sensations and emotions over and over and over again, we're staying stuck in the same patterns, and we're dishonest about ourselves, and we're dishonest about, we don't want to recognize what's actually going on inside of ourselves, right? That's what I mean by dishonesty, right? We're avoiding the pain around that. That's obviously unhealthy. So there's a healthy form of pain. There's a healthy form of stress as well. An example would be like weightlifting, right? You lift weights, you stress out your system, and then it grows and actually feels really good. It feels very rewarding. And then a lot of people, including myself, after they weightlift for so long, it ceases to be a very painful thing. In fact, it's very enjoyable after a while, right? After you kind of get used to it, after your sort of, your taste palette begins to change. So what hidden pain is controlling you? What feeling in your body is controlling you? When you binge eat, when you scroll, when you're getting reactive, when you're getting triggered, when you're doing any pattern, overworking, when you're procrastinating, What is your pattern that you're stuck in? What hidden pain is controlling you? What are you avoiding inside of you that is controlling you? Can we look at that? Can we look at it neutrally, right? Usually we want to judge it. We don't want it to be there. We want to get rid of it. I hate it, right? That's a lack of self-acceptance and self-love. And you can't live a fulfilling life based off of that. You're going to suffer for the rest of your life if that's the relationship that you have to yourself. So we have to look at that part of us, recognize our negative judgments of it, that we judge and beat ourselves up for having it. And then we actually have to move more towards acceptance, neutrality, curiosity towards that part of us, and just wanting to really investigate and know ourselves, which then paves the way to actually loving ourselves. Because through that compassionate and curious understanding, that moves to just love, which is where you actually want to go. So get in your body and actually accept the feeling instead of resisting it. Super simple, but applying this information and integrating it is where it gets tricky, because the insight of it is not the same as integrating it. Just knowing it is not the same as living it. And it's tricky work because, like I said, we're wired for that familiar suffering rather than the unfamiliar freedom. We're wired for our familiar sense of safety and security, and the unfamiliar growth, even though it's really what we want, we are too afraid of it to really embody it and actually do it often. So your body is storing all of these emotions, all your unconscious phenomena. It's all imprinted in your body, in your nervous system. A lot of people are very dissociated from their body. They're stuck scrolling all day, eating foods that aren't healthy for them, which kind of pulls them out of their body. Overworking, not meditating, not very flexible, not moving their body, but specifically not placing mindful attention on their body through an actual mindfulness practice. You need to actually sustain attention on your body in order to feel it deeper and deeper and deeper and really live in your body, inhabit your body. Your body is a living habitat that you need to live in, and it feels good. To be dissociated from your body is to also be disconnected from your true self. It's also to be out of the present moment, to be disconnected from your needs, to be disconnected from your true nature as the very source of existence. Because, well, you're the self with a capital S. So, when you remain unconscious, nothing shifts. This is like the rock bottom fundamental thing, and the path to becoming unconscious is full, the path to becoming conscious is full of challenges. It can be painful. It can be confusing. It's extremely challenging because our identity, like I said, wants to survive, and the pathway to becoming conscious is like we're shedding light on the inner demon that doesn't want the light. It screams and cries at the light. It doesn't want it. It's almost like getting a kid to kind of eat their veggies, right? And the kid doesn't want the veggies. The kid doesn't want to eat the broccoli, even though the kid needs broccoli, but he wants the ice cream and the cake. It's like you need broccoli so that you can actually grow and be healthy. So when you remain unconscious, nothing shifts. When you're disconnected from your body, nothing shifts. When you don't recognize the needs that your patterns are attempting to meet, nothing shifts. When you don't recognize that all of this is unconscious, nothing shifts. So you need to dig into, why do I do the things that I do? How does this actually serve me or try to serve me? What are the real needs that I have? Can I get more into my body? That's actually how you live a life that is fit for your needs. It's by getting in touch with your needs. It's very simple, right? Because when you're continuously disconnected from your needs, you behave in ways that actually cause suffering for you, which doesn't mean that the only way to be happy is to always be getting the things that you need at every point in time. That's not what I'm saying. But to live in a way that is connected to your true self and your true nature, that is actually how to be happy. That doesn't mean that you get everything you want when you want it, but that means that the lifestyle that you live and the path that you walk in your life fits you specifically, your unique personality style, your unique identity with your unique experiences and your unique self and upbringing and challenges and beliefs and thoughts and feelings and repressions and all this stuff. So if you are very serious about wanting to break free, if you really care about it, I have two things to give you. Check out my free inner work starter kit. Completely free. It's on my website. Extremely valuable. And number 2, send me a DM on Instagram. Inquire into my inner work and integration program. This is my one-to-one coaching. I've been helping people for years. So do that. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for being here.